the name or USN, you are supposed to say yes, I'm present, I'm absent. So we are not going to follow that. It takes around 5 to 7 minutes, which is completely lost of time. I can utilize that time more efficiently in another way with related to the subjects. So what I want people to do, there is a chat box, right? There you are going to put your attendance, okay, saying that your USN, that is enough. I hope everybody is aware of their USNs. The list is already displayed or it is already shared in the group. It's already displayed on the notice board also. So just check your USN. If you are not aware of your USN, you can put your name also. Okay, that flexibility we are giving. So you can start putting your USN as a your presentee. Please don't give the attendance of your friend. It is very easy to track who has given whose presentee on behalf of whom. So in that case, both the students will be considered and strict action will be taken against them. Okay, class. So let's start today's session. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen now. Uh, at any point of time, if you feel any doubts related with my voice or the presentation, please interrupt me at that moment, and we'll once again we'll start the session later. Okay, so don't worry if you are getting any problem. Try to interrupt me at that moment. I hope my screen is getting shared. Yes, am I right? You can unmute and tell me. Is my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. It's already 10:07. Okay, so we have discussed about uh, just a minute. We have discussed about the syllabus earlier. What all you are going to tell? You are going to see in the whole semester about the subject. I think I have given a clear idea about this also. How your marks, that internal marks, let it be your university exams. So total 100 marks, how it has been divided, and this the split up of the 40 marks is also been explained. So we have come up with the data structure. We have told about certain things about the data structure. Just let me revise once again. So structuring the data is all about the data structure. Structuring in a sense, here you will be doing the arrangements of the data in different way. The data means if I tell you the example of a keeping the books, it might be the books might be kept in different fashion. Just a minute. Yeah, the books can be shared in different way. Sorry, can be keep in different way. It may be keep on the table or say horizontally, or I can say for the whole table it will be occupied, or it will be keep on one above the other. Yeah, there might be another way that it instead of creating one column, it may consider as two column, or it may keep at two rows. Okay, so it may keep at row wise or column wise. It depends how is our flexibility. Okay, so that is how we are going to see the structuring of the data. Next, we have seen the how a program is to be generated or written. It is nothing but algorithm plus data structure. In the previous semester, you have discussed about the algorithms. Here, we'll be giving more focused on the data structure. Along with that, we'll be seeing algorithm and we are going to write the certain programs. Okay, so I think we have discussed about in the data structure there are the two ways. Those are the primitive and non-primitive. Now I want the answers from you people. What do you mean by primitive data structures and non-primitive data structures? Yes, student, please. What do you mean by primitive data structures?
So primitive data structure are the basic structures like integer, float, characters, and pointer.
Basic data structure. And what about the non-primitive data structures?
So it consists of linear list and non-linear list.
So in that, if we consider linear or non-linear, how they are differ?
Array, linked list, and stack.
So what they are, how they are called as a linear, and why they are called as a certain things are non-linear.
Means linear means the linear list follows a certain particular order, whereas non-linear doesn't follow a particular order.
Very good. Yeah, thank you. So in the data structure we have seen there are the two, basically it is divided in two broad areas, primitive data structure and non-primitive data structure. In the primitive data structure, you people have already learned in C programming. Those are the basic data structures which are used to say what kind of data it is going to hold. These are nothing but the containers actually, which are going to tell what kind of data or content it is going to hold. Okay, so integer, float, character, and pointer. Basically, these are called as primitive. With the help of these data structures, integer, float, character, and pointer, we can build non-primitive data structures. Okay, so non-primitive data structure, to build a non-primitive data structure you require the help of primitive data structures. You need to take the help of primitive data structure. That's why it's called the non-primitive data structure, and basically they are of two categories. They are again divided in two ways. These are linear and non-linear. We have seen the arrays. Okay, we'll be seeing linked list, stack, and queues. In the non-linear, graph and trees. Why they are called as a linear and non-linear? Student has already explained earlier very well. He has mentioned that linear means the accessibility will be very easy, in the sense we can easily find out which is the next element that has to be accessed because it is in linear fashion. In the non-linear, the accessibility can be easy, but we cannot find out what will be the next element at that moment only. It will take the form, or we cannot easily find out the next element who will be the uh, to access which element we are going to access them in next way. So graph and trees, it does not have any fixed path that has to be that has to be the element can accessed. So in the primitive data structures, rather basic structures and directly operated upon the machine's instructions. Uh, in other way, there are different representation on different computer. That's what I teacher floating character. In the non-primitive, they are more sophisticated data structure. The non-primitive data structure actually it emphasizes on structuring of a group of homogeneous, that is same type of. What do you mean by group of homogeneous data elements? Have you heard about this? Collection of homogeneous element.
Same type.
Same type, but have you learned about this grouping of elements with the same type of data?
Integer, float, and all.
So they are the same type of data.
Yes, sir.
Same type of data means, if I say, I'll give an example. If I'm going to collect all the elements of integer type together, means if I want to make a group of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah.
So
So
it's called an array.
very good, beta. That's what I was expecting. It is an array. Yeah. This is what an array. If a collection of homogeneous elements, same type of data. And in case of heterogeneous, that is different type of data items, what it will be called as? When you collect the different type of
Structure.
items. Yes, that's nice. It is structure. It is structure. So we have already learned the things, right, guys? It is not that we have not learned. So even we have seen the primitive data structures, say such as your integer, float, and characters, as well as we have seen about the pointers also, basic idea about the pointer, as well as in the non-primitive data structure. In the previous things, we have seen arrays and structure, non-primitive, right? So on top of this, we'll be seeing other non-primitive data structure. Those are my graph and trees, stack, queues, and linked list. Okay. Okay. So we'll be seeing about other data structures also in the coming part. Now, the non-primitive data structure, the most commonly used operation. What are the basic operation that has to be performed on the data structure is creating, selection, updation, searching. I'll come to this part later. We have seen the differences. Now I'll directly start with the arrays. You people have already worked on the arrays, right? It is an see guys. I'm going to simply what I can say. Start. What I'll be doing here, we'll be touching the certain concepts which are very important, which you have already learned and understand them basic level, at basic level. So as and when the syllabus goes deeper and deeper, we'll be understanding them in broad. So meantime, we'll be just touching the concept so that you can, okay, ये भी हमने पढ़ा है, we have already learned those things. You can understand, you can apply those knowledge over here. So you have already worked on the arrays. So I'm just touching the certain concept of the arrays once again. Okay, it is not in that depth. We'll be discussing the complete concept of the arrays in coming class. So it means an array can contain one type of data type only, either all integer, all float, or all character, right? It cannot have multiple kind of elements which has a different data types. So how to declare an array? Declaration of an array, if you remember, what is happening here? If I declare an array, int array of 10, now what happens here? If I'm considering the elements, I want to store 10 elements of data type integer under the one name. The problem with the variable is what? Variable is also a container which can hold the value. But when it comes to hold the multiple values under one name, under one memory space, it is not possible at all. So if you want to store 10 integer number, you require 10 different variables. Say int a, b, c, d, e, f, g, kind of that. You require 10 different variables. Obviously variables, if it is completely possible to have a 10 different variable, but their memory addresses also I need to remember to access them every time. Instead of that, if I can club them together and I need to only understand or remember the first address of first element, as it is a linear, I can access all the other elements, right? You know how the arrays has been accessed. We will be seeing these things in this class. These are the linear structure. Okay. So, and if I ask you one question, how much data integer elements is going to consume? Means data space I'm saying. You may have heard about, okay, a character consumes 1 byte of data. In that way, integer consumes how many byte of data? Students,
4 byte.
4 byte. Actually, it depends on the compiler that you are using. Either it is 2 bytes of data integer, it will be consuming
2 or 4
4 bytes of
bytes.
data. 2 or 4 bytes, that's what, very good. It depends on the compiler that you are using. If it is a short integer, it will be consuming 2 bytes of data. If it is a general default integer, it will be consuming 4 bytes of data. In the same way, what is the data consumption for floating point number?
4 bytes.
Sorry,
4
4
bytes.
4
byte.
bytes of data. So if I want to store a simple single integer variable or single floating point number, it is going to consume 4 bytes of data. In the same fashion, if I'm going to store a character, it is going to store only 1 byte of data. So if I'm storing 10 different elements, sorry, 10 elements of same data types, say if I consume, if I'm going to store 10 different elements, say 10, 20, 30, 40, like that, till 100. How many bytes it will consume? 10 into 4, because every element is going to consume 4 bytes of data. Yeah, so 10 into 4, 40 bytes of data. If they are scattered here and there at different places, to access them it will take time. It is a non-linear way, right? So what arrays is doing, accessing them, clubbing them together, storing them, just like your Parle-G biscuit, right? What happens there? A biscuit, every biscuit, if you are checking them, it is under the, and they are keeping at one above the other, right? It forms a kind of stack, right? And it is covered with a package, plastic cover जो हम लोग उसको package कहते हैं. Okay, so all the elements are easily accessible. आराम से निकाल सकते हो. अगर उसमें का एक भी बिस्किट, if a simple single biscuit in that pack, if it is that scattered way, it is very difficult to access, right? So we are clubbing them together and accessing is very simple. That is what the array is. Okay, so here in the PPT int array of 10, what happens? It creates the memory for the 10 elements. What kind of elements it is? It is integer. What is the name of that? What is the name of packet? Is Parle-G packet, right? So the name is very important. It is array. ARR is the name of this container. Okay, yeah. Next, how to access them? It will be accessed through that individual element of an array can be accessed by specifying the name of the array followed by index or subscript. This is very important term. Index or subscript inside the square brackets. Okay, you know how we have access the elements. This is what the subscript. Class, I'll say this is what the subscript. Next, we'll be discussing. It always starts with the 0th element. If you remember, a of 0 we used to sort, because the index value always starts from the 0th. You know, the base address in analog digital electrons, you'll be seeing about the base registers. We'll be discussing about the base register over them. You will understand why it starts with the 0. Okay. So if I have 10 elements, so what will be the minimum and maximum index value in that? Minimum value is fixed, that is 0. What is the maximum value of index that it can have?
9.
Index -1.
Sorry, index -1. Huh?
Yes, sir.
What is the index beta?
9.
It is 9. It is size -1.
जो भी highest value रहता है उसका -1.
That is a size. That is not an index. That is a size. A of 10. 10 is a size of the array that you are going to specify. So the maximum number of the index, that is index value, will be size -1. The size was 10 defined, so -1 is 9. So the total value that we are going to access is from 0 to 9. As the name of the array is ARR, so ARR of 0 to ARR of 9 we are going to access like this. Now I'll ask you a question. If I wanted to access fifth element in the array, how you people will be accessing it?
Sir, ARR4 will be index of
ARR,
the
very
A.
good,
That name of the
A
array
of 4.
and 4 is the index of that array.
very good. If I want to access the fifth element, as my structure array is starting with the index value 0, so if it is the number fifth minus 1, that is 4, so you have going to access to ARR of 4. Okay, now if I want to access two elements, say 7 and 9, 7th and 9, how we are going to access that?
Sir, we will use in between comma.
Very good. So how it will be the ARR of 6 comma
6,
ARR
8,
of 8.
8.
Very good. Now my question is, if I wanted to access all the elements in an array, how will you do that? I have a 10 elements. I'm going to write ARR of 0 comma ARR of 1 comma ARR of 2 comma ARR of 4
Sir,
5 like that.
no, sir,
uh,
we will use that arrow mark 0 to 6 or 0 to 5.
which arrow mark better?
Sir,
If there is a kind of repetition, what you are going to apply?
Loop.
Very good. That's what I was expecting from you people. It is a loop. Loop is what? Repetition. If there is any kind of repetition, then you are supposed to use the looping statements. Okay. So here I'll come back to this part like this. If you wanted to access all the elements, what is the minimum index value? That is 0. What is the maximum index value? That is 9. You will be applying any loop. I'm not saying only for loop. You can apply while loop, do while loop. You know how to apply it. If you forgot, don't worry. We will be here. We'll be seeing those things again, starting from the scratch. Okay, for I equals to 0, I is my index value. I equals to 0 to I is less than equals to 9. I plus plus, and if you remember, we have used the printf statement in C programming. And here, array of I. Every time I equals to 0, initially it will check, okay, array of 0, it will print something. Again, it will go back, get I plus plus, I becomes 1, check whether 1 is less than 9, yes, come back, increase. अगर आपको ये नहीं समझ रहा है, what I'll do, I'll make here like this. I hope now it is, if you people are familiar with this format, fine. I equals to 1, 1 is less than or equals to 9, condition true, it will come, it will print array of 1, it will again go back, becomes 2, 2 is less than 9, and such way the loop getting executed, right? So when there is a repetition of the same kind of things with minor change, what is the change? We have done here, every time this index value is getting changed from 0 to 9. What was the job? Just to access it and print it. It is just a repetition of the task. Accessing, printing from 0 to 9. Isn't it a repetition? So whenever there is a repetition, you are supposed to use the looping statement. That's what the looping statement is meant for. Okay. So here you are able to recall, okay, there was a looping that we have used in C programming. We are going to apply that here. Okay. You can use any looping statement you are familiar with. There will be certain limitation of each and every looping statement which you have already studied. If not, we'll be discussing that also here. Okay, I hope this point is clear. Okay, if we are reading or writing two-dimensional array, now it is in one-dimensional array, what happens? There was a two-dimensional array also. Can you tell me what has in a two-dimensional array?
row and column. Row and
Very
column.
good. Very good. It has a row and column. In a one-dimensional array, only it has one kind of data. So maybe stored in a row fashion or column fashion. But when I make a row column together, okay, x-axis, y-axis, which creates rows and columns kind of thing. Then here we have access using the will it be going to use two indexes or one index is sufficient? Definitely it requires two index values. It requires two index value. One index value is required to get the row values. Okay. Now, if you so these are the two examples. This is a one-dimensional array where I have stored the name of the student. Okay, name of the John Brand, Sandra Gold. This is the one dimensional. This is a two-dimensional where I'm going to store details about the store numbers and their departments. So store one has in the first department, it has got earnings of 2872 rupees. In this first store, second department, it has score, it has earned about 805 and blah blah things. Yeah, this is two-dimensional. Here also I need two indexes to store, one to store the values of the stores, another to get the value of the department. Every store will have a different departments. This is how a two-dimensional array we will be seeing. I'll come back to I'll go back for the list. Now this is something different for you people. Okay, list. Now it is also called as a linear linked list. It can be defined as a collection of a variable number of data items. So lists are the most commonly used non-primitive data structures. How it is going to be used more commonly we'll be discussing. So actually what happens in the list, in yesterday's previous class, one of the students talked about the list. I'll tell you what is that. Now see guys, this is what yeah, this is I'll take this. Okay, now this portion is going to hold the information, and part of that field is called as a pointer field. This is a pointer. Now what do you mean by information? Information means any data, the values which are going to store. And what is this is a pointer field. Pointer, you have heard about the pointer. What do you mean by pointer? Students, pointer?
Which holds the address value of the another variable, sir.
Value of another variable, wrong.
Sir, it holds the memory address
Next.
of another variable.
It holds the address of the next variable.
Next variable, sorry, no. Pointer is nowhere mentioned as it is going to hold the address of next variable. It never bother about who is there next, who is not there. If it is nobody is there next, doesn't matter.
So it
Next
is a
node.
variable which stores memory address of another variable.
Good. Yeah. It is going to hold only the addresses of some other variable. It is because variable, when we discuss about the variable are holding the values. None of the variable is going to hold the address of anybody. So if I require to hold the address, I require a special variable, that is a pointer. That is the pointer. Pointer are only meant to hold the addresses. It is not going to hold the values, data. It is going to hold only addresses. Now in the linked list, what happens? Linked list, it is going to hold addresses of somebody elements, some other different variables. Now this is what one field. Let me see. Let me tell you here. If I'm going to make the address of this field as a, say, I will say, okay, the address is 2000 for this, and maybe this is at a different place, and the address of this place is around 4020. I'll copy this, Control C, and I'll call this as Control V. And the address of this is 3020. Now guys, I think these are the addresses. These are not your numbers, your values. Let us assume these are the addresses. Addresses can be, we have already shown you the addresses while you people were executing the C programming. Okay. So what happens here? This is the address for this field. Okay, this is variable AAA. This is variable BBB. Actually, that is not the name. These are the values, and this is the variable C. Okay. Now A is located at the 2000, B is located at the 4020, and C is located at the 3020 memory addresses in the memory. Now what happens? This is the first variable A, which is storing data as AAA. I'll call it as A10. It stores the value 10. It stores the value 20, and let us assume this is going to store the value 15. Okay, these are the name and these are the values. Now what happens after this? In the array, every element is been stored in simpler fashion. Okay, so 10, 20, 30, like that. Here, and the addresses are same, means we can easily access it. Now what happens here? After this memory, if I wanted to access 4020 memory, because this is an integer field 10, what is the next address? It will be, it is stored from 2000 to 2003. A integer value requires 4 bytes of data. Agreed? So what is the memory consumption from 2000, 2002, 2003, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. So after 2003, that is 2004, it will access directly to 2004. But do I need to access 2004? No. I need to access the next element, which is situated at memory location 4020. Try to understand this concept. Okay, I wanted to access this. After that, I need to access element which is situated at memory location 4020. So I need to link now. I need to link from after accessing that element. It should access the element which is at location 4020. So this is what the link is given. This what you are able to see. This is a link we are giving. From this memory location, it is linking to this memory location to access the element situated at memory location 4020. It is the link. Now, from this also, the next element that I'm going to access, because the memory location for this is, as it is an integer value. Okay, so 4020, it again takes 4 bytes of data. 4020, 4021, 4022, 4023. This is the 4 memory space, 4 bytes of data. It is going to hold that 20 value. The next element it will access from 4023, that is 4024. Will it be required? No, the next element I need to access the element which is at the memory location 3020. Then link back to the 3020. So you need to provide one link over here like this. We are providing one link. at memory location 3020. After 3020, again it is an data which is held at 3020. It is of integer data, so again it is going to consume another memory. So 4 bytes of data: 3020, 21, 22, 23. It is again accessing 3024. Do I need to acquire? No, I don't need. So simply I'm saying here, no, we don't require. So here I'm considering simply cross. We are not going to access anything. This field, what the link are given, is called as a pointer field. What it is going to store? It is going to store address of the next element which you are going to access, which you people are going to access next. So that's what in the pointer field we are going to store the address of the element which are to be accessed next after this. And if there is no element which has to be accessed later, that is the end of your list, we are simply marking it as cross. There is no element that I need to access later. And the way which is formed like this, it is a list. And how we are going to create that? Using these certain links. That is why this is called as a linked list. A list, a node, and this is completely called as a list. ABC, what you have stored, this is called as a list, and every element in this list is called as a node. Every node has two parts. In the one part, it stores the information, nothing but your data, information field or data field, and in another part, it stores the pointer field, which stores the address of the next element that it is going to access. Clear, guys? I hope this is clear with the list. In the module 2, we'll be implementing the list to create the data structure and to create the data structure stack and queues. Okay. In the list, there are the different flavors available, different types of lists: single linked list, doubly linked list, single circular linked list, doubly circular linked list. So we will be seeing these three things in our syllabus: single linked list, doubly linked list, and singly circular linked list. Okay. Further part will be, that is an example for this, how the list is being used. Now here, if I'll show you, let me okay, fine. We have seen about the list. Now let me tell you one example about the list. If there is a tabular structure, customer and salesperson. Now if you are able to read the names of the customer, they are the individual customer or unique customer. But if you are going to see and checking the salesperson, so Adams is a customer for the Smith, and there is one more customer for the Smith is Evans and Hill. Evans and Hill. In the same way, Ray has about four customers: Brown, Drew, Keller, and Infield. In the same fashion, Jones has two customers, Clark and Farmer. Now, if I'm going to store there is of the data of the salesperson, it is a repetition, or I can say duplicates, right? So storing is very important, but storing the redundant element, is it a good? It is simply waste of the space. Yes, yes or no? So what we can do, see guys, I have created a separate table of the salesperson. Instead of storing their name, I'll simply store their pointers. So I've called a salesperson where Jones, Ray, and Smith, and I'm giving their numbers instead of calling their names. 1, 2, 3. These are their addresses. Let us assume index values. Okay. So Adams, I'll be calling their pointer. What is the address? Okay, I'll simply write down the address. So this is the value information field. It is a pointer. So Adams has a salesperson. Okay, Mr. Smith, Brown, Ray, Clark, Jones, like that. So this is your list. In the next class, I will be discussing about the stack. What do you mean by stack? We'll be discussing about the queues. Okay, so as it is already 10:45, so I hope. Is there any problem till this, guys? If you have any problem, please tell me. Because if not, I'll go ahead with the stack. Please. Students, any problem? Okay, fine. I'll go ahead with the stack. Now, what do you mean by stack? It is stack is an ordered collection of elements, but it has a special feature that deletion and insertion of elements can be done only from one end. Generally, we used to call as a top of the stack. This stack you have already used at many places, guys. Many places. Say maybe stack of your books, where as well as if you have gone through some functions where the buffet kind of system is there, where the plates were arranged in fashion like this, one plate above another, above another, above another, and like that. So this is a stack of the plates. Okay, so what happens here, if I place a plate, the next plate I have to place onto this, the next plate onto that, and it goes like that. So insertion, I'm saying insertion means addition of element into the previous elements. So it is happening from one end, that is top element. Why I'm saying called top? Because it is going move ahead, top. Okay, so insertion is happening at the top element. So let us assume I have a certain plates. Now I want to remove. So which element will be removed first? नीचे से निकालते हो क्या आप लोग elements को? It will be removed the topmost.
Last orbit.
That is topmost element. So I'll remove it the first. Okay, then next plate, then again next. So insertion and deletion is happening from only one end. That is we are calling the top of the stack. This is what a top pointer, which is going to pointer we have said, okay, which is going to point to the next element. If it is insertion, it will point to the memory space where the next element is going to store. If it is deletion, it will point to the next element which is going to be removed. So this is what is being called as a top. It's a pointer which is going to say which elements will be stored at the next element which is stored at which place. So due to this property, it is also called as a LIFO. LIFO means last in, first out. See guys, this is the first plate, the second plate, third plate, fourth plate, fifth plate. Okay. Now fifth plate which was inserted now, it will be removed first. Last in, first out. This was the second, fourth plate which was inserted at fourth position will be removed at the second position if I have the 5 plates into that. Last in, first out. सबसे आखिरी में कौन आया था? First plate सबसे first आया था. It is removed at the last. So first in, last out. LIFO or FIFO. First in, first out. First in, last out. FILO. Okay, this is what the stack for you people. I'll explain like this. This is what the elements first, second, and so push and pop. The insertion that is going to be happen is as a push operation, and the deletion that we have done, removing all the plates, as I given the example, that operation we will be calling as a pop. We will be calling as a pop. So push and pop are the basic operation that are going to be performed over the stack. Okay, so these are the basic concept about the stacks. I don't know whether you people have learned it in your C programming or not. So basically in this module 2, we will be completely dealing with stacks and queues. It is just a smaller introduction about the stack and queues. Okay, it is also data structure. We'll be seeing thoroughly in the next few classes. Now, if you have any problem, because I'm stopping, it's already 9:50. Hardly I'm left with the 5 minute. So if you have any problem with this, you people can tell me. Okay, so I'm stopping my presentation over here. Okay, class. I hope everybody has given their presentation, attendance by putting their USN in the chat box. If anybody have not given, kindly submit your attendance by putting your USN or the name in the chat box. Okay. Fine. So I hope you people are understanding the concept of data structure. We are going very slow as it is the initial classes, and I request you people to join through the Google class. The link is already been shared with you. All the study materials, the notes will be shared through that only. I'm going to a little bit restrict myself to use the WhatsApp for sharing the notes.
Sir, mute your mic.
So if you have any doubts, let me know in today's class, maybe today or later. That's it. Okay, class. So I'm stopping my lecture for the day.